questions or thoughts. Or
I just have a question for Dr. Robinson. How many years have we had a form available to parents where they can restrict a book for their student?
I mean, I think we would work with any parent that didn't want to do material. I'd say,
That's been available how long?
well, we sent out the form this year for the library. But I would say anytime a parent has a concern, that's always open. I mean,
How many parents have sent in that form and restricted books for their students?
Probably less than 10. I think we've had like 15 actually fill out the form, but we've probably had about half those that said my kid can read anything they want. And so I'd say that's why I think it's less than 10 that have probably filled out the form.
But still an important avenue for the parents to have. But
Yeah,
has
I mean,
not
it
been
does-
accessed by a huge number of parents.
So, yeah.
And we've made them aware that that's available to them.
We have. I would say new students, we probably haven't done a good job with that. If you're new to the district, we haven't been sending that. Again, that'll probably be something, well, actually, if we were going to do this letter, it would be coming out here within the next week or two to continue, letting parents have that option on what library books and such. So, yeah, I'd say that's going to come out before we get to Labor Day, so. But we have the list for right now, for anybody that filled it out. We do have our librarians honoring this request, so.
That's just that was me in the middle of the night and wrestling with this topic for our community, and thinking about every taxpayer in the district, and trying to honor the many perspectives that we have. We serve a diverse student population, and that's what part of public education is. We serve a very diverse population, and so all parents have the right to have a voice in their students' library experience and book experience. And so, but I don't know what the pleasure of the board is, so I wanted to suspend it for 2 weeks. I want you guys to do your own research. Then I think it would be, I'll call a special board meeting. We'll come back and we will just focus on policy KLB, the KLB, KLB-AP1 section of our policies. I'm going to dig a little deeper myself. I've done a ton of research on that. I want our administrators and teachers and students to be able to really focus on education. This has been heart-wrenching, I think, for people in our community. I think people have really struggled with this. It's caused an immense amount of tension. And I think we can take pause and look at it and see where we want to go from here. That's my recommendation. I'm open to any input. I know it's probably kind of sprung on some of you, so but that's why I want to pause it and allow you to.
Do we want to say that we'll suspend policy KLB-AP1 until the called meeting? If we say 2 weeks, then we're locked in.
Until I call a meeting, sure.
Until they called a meeting,
Yeah.
and then we would not want to restrict us to that policy only. In my personal research regarding instructional media and library materials, I might come up with another policy in that realm that I would also like for us to address.
Okay.
And so just restricting that, if we could go under the umbrella of that KLB-AP1 and any other instructional media library materials policies.
So like KLB itself, which is the
policy,
that
and the
follows
AP is administrative procedures.
Right, the implication. So KLB, KLB, and KLB,
Right.
and we'll review all of those.
Correct.
Okay.
That would be, my motion is to suspend, since KLB-AP1 is on the agenda, to suspend that until a called meeting, and then at the called meeting, consider it and other policies that may be related to instructional materials and library materials.
Any other?
Does that make sense?
So I have a motion on the table from Dan. Do I have a second to Dan's motion? second by Mr. Grenier. Any additional discussion?
The only additional, and we've talked about this, but just to be clear, I just want every parent to know that they have this avenue available to them to restrict books that they would not like their student exposed to.
I think if we eliminate the external review process, we would supplement that with that stipulation in there, that will become our new avenue. But that's something we should all research, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we want to, the parents have had the right to do that in our district, but I wanted to formalize that in a way that it's easily accessible to them. And then we can talk about the nuances of what that would look like, and we can let Dr. Robinson and the administrators come up with, as books are added, and how we want to communicate that to our community. But I think I've just, this has really burdened me as leading this district. I think we have a great thing going here. I think we need to get every taxpayer represented, and we need to get our kids educated, and we've just got a lot of things floating out there, and so it was a thought. So that was my thought.
I'm
I have a
sorry.
motion. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, just one more point that I would like to make, and I think it's important to consult with legal. I think it's important to give parents every opportunity to be heard, but I know for myself, I will also be talking to some of our teachers.
Absolutely.
And saying, how does this play out in the classroom? Does this make it impossible for you to instruct students when you've got, okay, 40 texts, one for each kid, you've got to, I mean, I don't see it becoming that.
This
but-
would not be curriculum, this would be library materials.
And any
library
and the
media.
teachers.
Right.
So I just want to go on the record that I will be talking to teachers as well. I think our teachers have taken a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
I find it unfortunate, and we've got great teachers who
Absolutely.
love these students, and so. Anyway.
I would encourage you, definitely talk to teachers, talk to constituents throughout the community. And that's also why I have put my thought was to put a pause on it a little bit. I want to look at this from many, many, many angles. I mean, nothing's going to be perfect, but I want to look from many angles. And I want to put the student in the center of the discussion, what's best for the students and the families. So
For all students.
all students, every student, we represent a very diverse student population, and so all students. So I have a motion by Dr. Kircher, I have a second by Mr. Grenier. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Seeing none, we will suspend policy KLB-AP 1, and I will call a special meeting in the next bit.
Whenever.
Yeah, so, thank you. Okay, final items during the open portion of our meeting is board member comments. We'll start with Ms. Peck.
Just thank you to all the building administrators, the staff, custodians, maintenance, everyone who's getting everything ready for the kids. So thank you for all your work.
Ms. Early?
Absolutely, and I'm excited about our new rooms platform and learning more with two girls in two separate buildings. I'm excited to see how that's more, concise and so I know it's going to be a big learning process and curve.